100 days now to the midterm elections, and new CNN rankings releasing right now give the Democrats even more reason to feel bullish about their odds of taking the big prize, control of the House of Representatives. The campaign trail in a second. First, the current state of play. Remember, Republicans have the majority right now, 235 seats. You see the red filling in on the floor of the House. The Democrats are at 193 today. That's the state of play in Washington. But look at these new rankings releasing this hour again out on the campaign trail. Republicans from 235 down to 158 solid seats for the GOP. 29 likelies, 18 leans. You see these toss-ups, that's the yellow in the middle. For the Democrats, improving numbers, 182 solid, 9 likely, and 12 leaning Democratic seats right now. So, can the Democrats get to the majority? Well, let me give you a dream scenario. Again, this is a dream scenario. But if the Democrats keep all the likelies, win all the leans, and sweep these toss-ups, look at the numbers. That would give them 230 seats, more than enough to be in the majority. Now, that's a dream scenario. Elections never play out exactly as you wish, but it does show you the math is within their reach. Why are they so optimistic? Take a closer look at these toss-up races. 27 in all. They're in the yellow. See that red? 25 of the 27 of these seats are currently held by Republicans. 25 of the 27 toss-ups are currently Republican seats. That's why the Democrats are so optimistic. Only 2 of those yellow seats are blue, Democratic seats. So Democrats optimistic, even more so now at the 100-day mark. Another reason they're so optimistic is the then and now. Let's go back to the beginning of the year. Republicans were still in danger then, but the numbers were better. 177 solid Republican seats back in January, only 158 now. More and more races have moved from the dark red into the lighter red and the pink to the yellow, sliding over toward the blue. The Democrats, 176 solid seats in our beginning of the year rankings. You see 182 now. You see the likelies. You see the leans. You see the toss-ups. The climate for the Democrats even better at the 100-day mark than it was at the beginning of the year, which is why their current leader, Nancy Pelosi, sounds so optimistic.
The contrast between House Republicans and Democrats could not be clearer. At every turn, House Republicans are selling out the American people to put themselves and their special interest donors first.
100 days to go. The significant part of those new rankings, again, you look at where we were in January, where we are now. 12 races since we last did this a couple months ago. 12 more races moving toward the Democrats, which is the great tug of war in American politics. We just talked about this booming economy, something the president and his party should be able to sell to the American people. But then you have first, the traditional midterm dynamics. The president's party almost always loses in the first midterm. And dynamic number 2, in much of the country, including the places where you have those toss-up races, where you have those soft Republican seats, the president's toxic.
Well, and so a couple things. One, I think that's reflective of what I was hearing from House Republicans before they left for the congressional recess. They've had a bit of a roller coaster, mainly based on how the generic D versus R poll has been bouncing around, where they had a couple of weeks where they felt good. They thought they were getting into a better place. They have been seriously focused on the economy. That has shifted as they were leaving town. People are now feeling not great about what they're coming home to. And I'll say this, one of the most interesting things that I think everybody's keeping an eye on right now is Ohio 12. It's a Columbus special election that's going on right now. And one of the monster super PACs in the game, aligned with Paul Ryan Congressional Leadership Fund, just recently put out a new advertisement that was focused entirely on illegal immigration and Nancy Pelosi. This is a place while it stretches into Licking County, it's some rural areas, it's also the suburbs of Columbus. These are the types of people that the econ message should absolutely play with. This is a place that Trump won this district by 11 points in 2016, and they have shifted focus, not unlike what they did in the Virginia governor's race, into illegal immigration, trying to turn out base, trying to hit the rural area numbers in Licking County. That, while I don't know what numbers they're looking at, that doesn't seem to be a great thing for me, and kind of underscores what we're seeing right now with the map.
I want to highlight one particular race, the Virginia 7, which is Dave Bratt's district. Right. This is the old Eric Cantor seat.
It was a bellwether when Bratt won it.
Right? It was a bellwether when Bratt won it. It was one of those Tea Party sort of wave seats. I've covering Virginia for a long time. That's been a Republican seat. That was not something that the Republican Party thought they had to worry about. The rankings here have moved that into the toss-up category. I mean, if that's a toss-up seat for Republicans that they have to worry about, that's the canary in the coal mine, that they have problems that they need to address, and that's what that means.
Let's look deeper at the numbers here. We're going to look at some 2018 numbers, current numbers, compare them to how the president did back in 2016. If you see right now on the generic House ballot, the Democrats are up 25 points among women. They won women in 2016, but only by 13. White without a college degree, plus 11 for Republicans, but it was plus 37 for President Trump. Independents, plus 17 for Democrats right now. President Trump carried independents by 4, plus 4. So you have the midterms are always different. It's not a presidential year, but if you're Republicans looking at the fundamentals, especially women independents, you're worried.
Yeah, and I think it's true that he can exist for a while on base support, but what Trump is doing to a large extent in some of these exurban and suburban areas is taking white college-educated women who were occasionally, if not reliably, GOP voters and turning them into at least swing voters, if not Democratic voters. Now, we don't know how they'll behave in a midterm election, if they'll come out at all, if they'll sit at home, but if they don't come out, and they used to come out, then that's a problem for the GOP. The other issue, I think, for Trump is that we haven't seen his power transfer to other candidates unless they are very aligned with the Trump style. And being very aligned with the Trump style is not helpful in a toss-up district where you need to be a little bit more subtle.
And yet, listen to the president here talking on the radio with Sean Hannity. A lot of Republicans want the president to be quiet or to talk just about the economy. Don't tweet about things. Don't attack the special counsel. Don't travel all that much. Just go to the deep red places. But the president says, I'm ready to help.
You know, the famous quote, it's the economy, stupid. Well, if it's the economy, then we should do very well. I just don't know any reason why we shouldn't do well. The economy is the strongest ever, and I think that's going to have a very positive impact. And I am going to work very hard. I'll go 6 or 7 days a week when we're 60 days out, and I will be campaigning for all of these great people that do have a difficult race, and we think we're going to bring them over the line.
Can he do it, and where can he do it? And as we have the conversation, I just want to also show this. Michael mentioned this in the last discussion about the economy. 95 competitive House races we have in the country right now. 28 of them are in the Midwest. A lot of those are farm states affected by this trade conversation we're having. 25 of those seats held by Republicans. The 3 Democratic seats are in Minnesota. Can the president, at this moment, we know there are some places he can help. He can help in the big Senate races. He can help in North Dakota. He can help in West Virginia. He can help in Indiana in the big Senate races. But in the House races, he could just drive across the bridge to go see Barbara Comstock. She would hide.
Yeah, she would say, no, thank you. I mean, the president's saying he can't think of a reason why Republicans won't do well. Well, Republicans can think of so many reasons, and most of them are on his Twitter feed every single morning. So the president, I think, doesn't quite understand that the midterm dynamics are going to be different from what he was experiencing when he ran and won very narrowly in 2016. And he also often forgets that he did win very narrowly, that this was not a total, it might have been a blowout on the electoral college side, but it was not a vote blowout. And I think that Republicans are very mindful of that because this is a razor's edge kind of situation. And President Trump wants to throw his weight around in some of these swing states, and Republicans are believing that he needs to be more strategic. But that being said, I think they've been fairly happy with the kind of discipline that he's had recently with, endorsing the right people, endorsing the people that they want him to endorse, doing it at the right times, not going totally rogue, going where he's asked to go. He's basically following directions. As long as that continues, I think they're going to be okay.